Kevin Federline versus Britney Spears. How do you guys feel about that? Has anybody bought Kevin Federline's book?
They say only about 1,200 people bought it. So
I went back and I was looking at old interviews of him and Britney when they first started out. That was interesting. That was really interesting. Seeing them online and they were sitting there on Ellen. And Ellen was so excited and she was going to be the godmother and she had all these questions to ask about the intimate personal life and how they got together. Of course, nobody mentioned anything about the fact that he was in a relationship with Shar Jackson from Moesha. She was pregnant with, I think, their second child while he was running off with Britney. And Shar Jackson has done like multiple interviews on how she was totally just cast aside and thrown out like a day old bread. She told a really sad story about giving birth to their second child. And apparently, Britney Spears was supposed to be in the car while she was giving birth. And then, right after she delivered the baby, he ran off with Britney. And then the next thing you know, Britney was pregnant.
wow.
And then Britney had two babies back to back. And then the next thing you know, the marriage was over.
Hmm.
Not long after that, Britney was deemed not fit to take care of herself. And she was put in that awful conservatorship. Like, I don't think anybody's paying attention to the timeline, but there are things that I don't think people have acknowledged. And I'm just going to.
I mean, when you were breaking it down, that's why I said this will be a great subject. Because I said, oh, because I don't follow Britney Spears. From what I remember, her and the Justin Timberlake thing. I know she was a Disney child actor. She became this singer. They like sexualized her. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden, I do remember the Kevin Federline thing in the early 2000s, and then I do remember, yeah, he was with Shar Jackson, and all of a sudden, boom, he's with Britney, and then they married. Then boom, it's like out of nowhere, same. It's just as quick days they're married, as quick divorce.
During the May 2025 federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs, his former partner Cassie Ventura testified that Combs brought Britney Spears to her 21st birthday party in Las Vegas
Mm.
back in 2007. Let's pay attention to these details. Oh, and where's the image? Here we go. This is back in 2007. So let's just go over some details. When did Brittany and Justin break up?
Well, that like in 2000.
2002.
Okay,
Okay. That's when they officially broke up. Now,
right when you dropped your
when
album, huh?
hmm When did Brittany and Kay bed?
That had to have been 2006, 7?
Actually, no. They got married in 2004 and they were divorced by 2007.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
weren't even married 3 years. It had been like
No,
2 years
two
and
and a half.
change.
Yeah.
So, are y'all seeing this? 2007. So we go from the Justin Timberlake, because let's not forget that when she was with Justin Timberlake, we didn't find out until she put her memoir out recently that she had a bathroom baby deletion that Justin Timberlake made her do because he didn't want it to ruin their images.
Mm.
I want y'all to think about that, how traumatic that must have been for her young self. Because she loved Justin and she wanted to have that baby, but Justin said no. So she was forced to do a homemade DNC on herself to cover up the whole thing. And then Justin Timberlake came forward and labeled her with a scarlet letter and said that she was cheating on him and she was this and she was that. This is 2002. By 2004, she was married. It's 2 years later. She's married to this guy who she just got introduced to by, a dancer or someone who was around. And he was in a relationship with someone else. Someone else was pregnant. But they hit it off right away. And now he's got a book saying that he caught her cheating
Mm. How
with the
convenient.
very woman that introduced them in
Right.
the lesbian tryst. And then she was getting high and she was doing all of this stuff. And while she was breastfeeding and she was this, she was that, woo, 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 yada, yada, yada.
And he made a request for her to not do D-rugs while they were
Yeah, he went to
breastfeeding
a
and
lawyer.
right.
He didn't take her to a rehab. He didn't bring in anyone to get her help. He went to a lawyer so it would be publicly on record,
Right.
his accusation. So it would be able to be uploaded in sites like Pacer for people to be able to pull those details, to pull her card. And right after that, she filed for divorce. And her
Right.
life has never been the same again.
Yeah.
Now, this was July 30th, 2007.
Yeah.
Let's go back to hmm, wow, that was fast. See, she was divorced from Kevin Federline in July 2007, and September 2007 she was at that party. Diddy brought
Wow.
her to Cassie's party.
Wow. And what happened at that
2007.
party? What happened at that party? Because I like I said, I was very oblivious to this whole Britney Spears stuff. She got the divorce. Months later, she's at a Diddy party. What happened at that party?
Okay, Sean Diddy Combs trial, Cassie's graphic testimony. Let's take a read, shall we?
And yeah, you guys, Yvonne, I do feel bad for her too, because you can. This is. I'll talk about it later. Go ahead.
Horrible and disgusting. Cassie's graphic testimony of abuse le- leaves Sean Diddy Combs' fate hanging in the balance. That's interesting. That's interesting. Let's get to the part. She already felt trapped in a cycle of physical and sexual uh, trauma. Well, look, let's just get to it. We don't need to do a whole bunch of reading.
No.
Allegedly, Britney Spears was brought to Cassie's 21st birthday party where Diddy first started insinuating himself very heavily into Cassie's life. And rumors have said that Diddy not only pharmaceutical Britney out, but he allegedly essayed her at that party as well. And they
Mm,
said it was said by witnesses that saw Britney leaving the party that she did not look good,
mm,
that she looked disoriented. I'm not even sure if they've been honest about whether or not she walked out on her own 2 feet or was carried out.
mm.
All of this is alleged. I'm not, people can do their own research. But I just wanted to point out a few details of the descent of what happened, of what we're looking at that has happened in the public eye to Britney Spears. Justin Timberlake sets her up for her first humiliation ritual in 2002. K Fed comes in 2004. She's divorced by the summer, July of 2007, and then she's being escorted into a party where people are saying not only was she pharmaceuticaled out, but she was essayed by the diddler, allegedly, at Cassie's party, where Cassie, I believe, is saying that was like the beginning of her whole descent into
The
the
downfall. Yeah,
FO world
yeah.
and all of the pharmaceuticals that was being placed upon her.
Yeah.
Okay. When did Britney Spears begin? This is sad. So y'all gonna have to forgive me because for me this is sad. But we're gonna show y'all her conservatorship.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you know, but there's a moon, a hollow moon that keeps showing up in the camera. Oh wow. Britney Spears' conservatorship began in February 2008. Divorced from K-Fed after less than 3 years marriage, two babies back to back. She goes to the Cassie party in Vegas with Diddy. September, October, November, December, January. 5 months later, she's in a conservatorship.
Wow.
5 months later. I want y'all to think about that timeline. Britney Spears' conservatorship began February 2008 following a petition from her father, Jamie Spears, after a series of public struggles with her mental health. A judge granted a temporary conservatorship, which was extended and became permanent by the end of that year, lasting 13 years until its termination in November 2021. Well, she was in the conservatorship by February 2008. She would have lost the boys at that time. The conservatorship pretty much deemed her mentally incompetent and not able to take care of her children.
Right. And the kids were very young, less than 5 years old.
The kids were very young. So Kevin Federline went and said that she was doing pharmaceuticals while she was pregnant, went to a lawyer, pretty much had her listed as an unstable and neglectful and dangerous parent. She filed for divorce because of it. And then the next thing you know, she's at a Diddy party. She was never the same after that. And then she's in a conservatorship. And let's not forget, Lou Taylor was the person that was overseeing her conservatorship. And Lou Taylor and Diddy are very close friends.
Wow.
I want y'all to think about that. Lou Taylor, Diddy, and the Kardashians are all a part of that church.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Church of California foolishness.
Hmm.
Are y'all not looking? The second that she got away from K-Fed, they had her in a conservatorship and then they made it last for 13 years. Now let's ask another question. How much money did Britney Spears earn during her conservatorship?
Yeah. See, look, that's very wild because you were letting me know that they had her on tour. She had a residence. I'm like, I thought if she was not mentally capable of doing, it's like, okay, you set her down and let her just chill. And they had her on all types of psych meds and stuff. So I'm sure, yo, that's crazy. So they were making money off. How much money did they make off of her?
Britney Spears earned millions during her conservatorship, with her estate managing billions in revenue from her work, though her
Wow,
father, Jamie Spears, was paid at least 5 million. It's difficult to calculate her total earnings as the money was managed by the conservatorship, but her income came from tours, residencies, and her catalog, while a significant portion went to fees for lawyers,
wow,
managers, and her father. Her estate also covered her living expenses, legal fees, and child support payments. And Kevin Federline was getting about 40 grand a month.
wow, wow. He was just like a professional bum. He's the real
Income.
professional baby daddy.
Spears continued to earn money through projects like her Piece of Me, Las Vegas residency, the Femme Fatale album, and her back catalog, Forbes notes. Expenses and fees. A large portion of her earnings went towards conservatorship related expenses, such as legal and attorney fees, that, according to one lawyer, exceeded $36 million. The lawyers. Her father, Jamie Spears, was paid a monthly salary of $16,000 for his role as conservator, plus a percentage of tour and merchandising sales. Personal spending. Her personal expenses during the conservatorship were also significant. For instance, in 2012, she spent $6.8 million of the nearly 14 million the conservatorship earned that year. 6.8 million on what? She
How
wasn't
long?
allowed she wasn't allowed to spend her own money.
Yeah, that's what.
So what did she spend? She wasn't allowed to have a debit card or a credit card. She wasn't really even allowed to have cash. She wasn't allowed to do anything. So who spent the 6.8 million? court filing, Spears also paid her ex-husband Kevin Federline. Oh, I'm sorry, not 40,000, 20,000 a month.
Oh, 20. Okay.
My
Well, that's
bad.
still a lot.
20,000 a month for child support during the conservatorship.
So she had a residency at Planet Hollywood for 4 years.
Mhm.
It made 138 million. And apparently people liked it. It won, Best of Vegas award in 2 years for 2015, 2017. And
This is
she
worse than
she's a,
Wendy Williams
yeah. Like
because Wendy
I
Williams got to raise her son. Wendy Williams, Kevin wasn't, little Kevin wasn't, affected by what they did to Wendy until he went to college.
until he
She
was older.
actually got to have her life. Britney
They took the
Spears was
kids
moved.
they took the kids away from her. That's sad. I want to and let's talk about that real quick because in
Oh,
the
hold on a
book I
second.
know.
Luna has a very
Oh,
interesting
Luna.
comment here. Thank you for the super chat, Luna. She says, "Don't forget Robin Greenhill. Robin Greenhill, Lou Taylor's bestie. She helped keep Britney a prisoner. Robin was mentioned during Diddy's trial because she pays Jane
Mm.
Doe's bills."
Oh, see, and that's all that see, a whole nother conversation. So why they're really not talking about Rico, but
You wanna
um
know what I find interesting? That nobody thought Britney Spears should come and testify during Diddy's trial.
they could have easily
She
dismissed her
was there
because
at the party.
but they could have just tried to dismiss her. Like, see, this whole media thing, that's why I even said talk about this because this media all of a sudden Britney out in the media, it's like a setup to me. It's a setup for a sacrifice, if you ask me. I was very oblivious to all the money that she was making over these past years,
She
and
made a
we
lot
know,
more money during her conservatorship than she's making
that she
now.
made.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, yeah,
Isn't that funny? The largest money that she's made in her career was made during that conservatorship. She wasn't allowed to have access or have any real freedom in her life, but then again, she had been affected. So let's take a look at this. The diddler is known for using pharmaceuticals to harm or induce harm on people.
yeah,
It was alleged, and for some testified, that Britney Spears, right after she left Kevin Federline, was brought to Cassie's party and something happened to her that night at that party. Matter of fact, someone said that they heard Diddy bragging about what he had done to her. Then the next thing you know, she's in a conservatorship. Less than 6 months later, and Diddy's friend, Lou Taylor, is in charge of it. And thank you uh,
yeah. Thank you, Luna.
for that detail. So all of this is happening. Her largest money is made while she's being controlled. Her largest money is made while she's being controlled. And then the second that the conservatorship is over, all of a sudden the money ain't really rolling in like that. Now she did put the book out, and I think the book helps her.
Yeah.
The book helped her. She was able to profit off of that.
Hmm.
And now, less than 4 years later, this is what we're seeing. Now we have videos of her being reported to be driving while under the influence. We have paparazzi following her again,
Daily
stalking
Mail.
her again, filming her while she's swerving up and down the road. You want to know what I found really interesting about that? If everyone was so concerned about what she was doing and her well being, why didn't anyone call the police?
Yeah.
Why didn't anyone call the police?
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Or was all anyone was interested in was getting the footage?
Now, Taylor, hold on. Taylor said K-Fed should be able to tell his story. She started it. Yeah, you're right. K-Fed should be able to tell his story. But listen, it's looking like a setup to me. She she can create her memoir and put it out there and profit from it. No problem. He can
This
do
is
it as well.
no, this is the thing though.
But who more people care about? I think more people care about her story. You got people that will listen to what K Fed has said, but overall, yeah, I just think he's doing a whole lot because I'm just thinking of we were talking about the what's going to happen later or what could possibly happen later.
See, this isn't about what Kevin Federline is saying. This isn't about his story. It's not even about Britney's story. It's about the facts and the details of how things are being lined up. She made her most money while she was being controlled. And now that she's no longer being controlled, all of a sudden she's falling apart again. What I see is them creating, and meanwhile, he's sitting online trying to bring himself to tears, putting out the story that the children are afraid that she's about to be gone.
And then you say
She's,
that
she's about to be gone.
the children spent time with Brittany at one point because they haven't really spent time with her. But you know what? Within the last 5 years, I think one of the sons was with her once, saw her once, and something weird happened, or
They're saying a bunch of weird things happen. They're saying that she's inappropriate around them. The kids are saying a bunch of stuff. And what's wild is that I don't even think, like, I think there was a story about she needed to give them money in order for them to be willing to spend time with her. Like, I don't think these
wow,
children really have an emotional attachment to her in that way at all. And the
no,
truth is,
no,
the person that they've been being raised at is the person that gets to control the narrative of how she's viewed.
right.
Now, um, make you no mistake about this. Do I think that some of the stuff that she's doing is erratic? Yes. Do I think she's being triggered? Absolutely. Where is the friend that she just went out to dinner with when they captured all of this stuff? Because if I saw my friend and I knew that my friend was drinking and I was there with my friend and I didn't think she was doing well enough to be able to make it home on her own, the last thing I'm going to do is let her get in a car and drive.
No,
If she insists on her car making it to the house, then that's perfectly fine. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to leave my car here and I'll just Uber back and get my car in the morning and I'm going to drive you home in your car.
right.
That's what a friend would do. So tell me something. Why is nobody questioning the friend? Because the friend was holding her hand while she was walking her out the door. But in
Right.
a lot of the footage that we have from this so-called Britney falling apart in public, you don't see the friend. They only seem to grab footage and images of when the friend wasn't around. And what I'm trying to get y'all to understand is that what it's looking like is that they're creating a scenario. If she's gone, if something happens, if some kind of terrible accident happens in the next year, do you know what's definitely going to happen? The whole world is going to cry. They're going to mourn. They're going to talk about how sad it was. They're going to talk about this. They're going to talk about that. They're going to make a ton of money off of her music. They're going to make a ton of money off of her catalog. Kevin Federline's book is now going to be looked as something different. It's not going to be looked as a grift off of her name. It's going to be looked at, he was trying to warn us. He was trying to do this. And then I bet you it finally makes the bestsellers list then. Um, does nobody else see the lineup? This woman has been manipulated and moved around her entire adult life. Her entire adult life. And now, with everything else that's going on, I think it's fair to say she might be experiencing some depression.
Yeah, I definitely I feel so bad for her because you can see it in this picture and you see it or not. Like, yeah, this is another example of, you know, need the most help, she get the most help. She's somebody he needs help. She got nobody around her. She needs the right people around her. Like you say,
Oh no, they have the right people around her. They have
no,
the
but they
people that will help
they
drive her
she
over the
needs the right
edge around
she
her.
needs the right people that's gonna keep her safe. Yeah, and out
How
of
do
the
they make
bull.
money off of that?
Right, exactly. But no,
How
I'm
do
just
they make
saying,
money off of that? I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, I think that they're pissed off that the public made so much noise that they had to drop her conservatorship and they came up with another inroad to be able to get that money back. When
yeah,
they're used to making money off of you, that's what they want. They want to make money off of you. Why do y'all think Prince wrote slave, had slave carved into his beard? Because this is what it's all about. But and then they're saying that apparently now she's exposing the fact that she suffered from some brain damage.
yeah, yeah,
I tell you one thing, if she passes away in a car crash or a accidental OD or finds herself in a bad situation, everything that they've showed us in these past 18 months will be enough to make sure that nobody bothers to ask any questions or hold anyone else responsible for her demise but her. This is what they do. SCX, pharmaceuticals, and rock and roll. The very things, the very vices that they ask you to promote, the lifestyle they ask you to promote, is what they get to use to explain away your demise. And then the machine gets to keep making money off of you. Now, I'm not saying that she's not unwell. I'm not saying that she's not struggling from anything. I'm not saying that, I'm saying that it's probably fair to say that she ain't been right for quite some time. And as far as Kevin Federline is concerned, when you go back and you look, welcome, Mystic. If you go back and you look at the old footage, he never really looked that invested in her. Matter of fact, they were telling a story on Ellen where she said she asked him to marry her. But then there were also moments where she was still crying over Justin Timberlake, saying that she wasn't even over that situation. So why would you marry a woman that was still caught up over another man? And why were you lying to the woman who you had pregnant, who you had been in a relationship with for years? Why were you lying to her about your relationship with the superstar starlet that you were dating? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, I think I think Kevin Federline was hired to line her up.
yeah, yeah.
And I think right now this book is just him fulfilling his role as, and she was right about the statement that she made, that he's gaslighting. And he is gaslighting. It's easy for him to be able to say that she's mentally unwell. She's been on lithium, she's been on all kinds of stuff. We don't know what her mental state is like after years of pharmaceutical induced abuse.
Exactly.
We don't know. But when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the details, she don't talk about her Disney years. She don't talk about her time as a mouseketeer. She don't talk about none of that. Matter of fact, none of them do. Christina Aguilera don't talk about it, neither does Justin Timberlake. Isn't that interesting? That
That
pivotal moment that put all of them in position to become the big stars that they are, and they don't ever talk about any of that. None of it. By 2002, her reputation was already being destroyed by, her teenage love affair with a guy who has been known for lining women up in the public eye. From what he did to Britney Spears' reputation, what he did to Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl. Like, are we not looking?
I'm saying, it's the evidence is there.
DiCaprio as well.
Mm.
Let's look. 2002, and then she gets thrown into this relationship, this whirlwind relationship, because it was a whirlwind relationship. They were married in less than a year of meeting each other, and most of the time that they were together, he was on the road with her while she was touring. Meanwhile, he had a baby with another chick who he supposedly loved and cared about, and then just left her to go run off and be with Britney. Then he does the interviews, and let's not forget they had a reality TV show. Are we all forgetting about that? They had a reality TV show about their whirlwind relationship. And then the next thing you know, he's accusing her of being an addict and doing things while she was mothering their children. She files for divorce to get away from him, and then she's in a conservatorship. I'm just saying, this don't look like what I think a lot of people should be acknowledging it to be. I don't know. But I don't like the fact that every time you turn around now, it's like it's 2015, 2016, 2017. Britney Spears is the meal that the media is feasting on. And the very people that helped line her up are the very people that are now playing a part in creating a bunch of hoopla. Yeah, this Kevin Federline book, if anything happens to her, that book's gonna sell. And he's gonna go out on another press tour.